All right, folks. So I'm here with main man, Chungus Cast host, Gifford Hampshire. So Giff, tell the people a little bit about what exactly we're embarking on here.
We are on the way to Weston, West Virginia. It's approximately 4 hours, 179 miles from Fairfax, Virginia, due west, and located there is the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, which I believe is like the biggest lunatic asylum in probably the East Coast. I'm not really sure. And I think that's where they first performed the full frontal lobotomy, a bunch of other crazy stuff.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Huh.
And so, it's one of those asylums where there's lots of history of basically just mistreatment of patients, overcrowding, horrible conditions. But the asylum architecture is really cool. It's like built like this giant Gothic structure, sort of like you would see in like some sort of creepy Victorian England hospital, where they did like crazy experiments in front of everybody. But yeah, it's a really interesting place. It's 2022, and they're still letting people be locked in this hotel overnight, or not this hotel, this asylum overnight. There's a guide, but I'm pretty sure he only pays attention to us for the first hour, and then we're free to explore, try and catch ghosts, and the doors are locked. We don't get out till 5 a.m. So hopefully I'm in view. I can't tell.
No, you're in view.
Oh hell yeah! So yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a fun night. I'm hoping. My hope is that we're at least like it's exciting enough that we don't have trouble staying awake. What I fear is that it might just become me and Andrew playing cards in some dingy room all night because we're bored or something. But there's 8 acres of floor space to explore, so we should have a good time.
I think. I can't speak for.
You want me to hold it in front
No,
of you?
no, that's fine. I can't speak for you, but like, I know for me at least, I think the adrenaline should be enough to keep me going.
Especially if we start hearing stuff. If we don't see anything for like 5 hours straight, I think we might start to get a little sleepy.
Right. The only thing that would really freak me out, and I've done a lot of thinking about this in the various allegedly haunted locations I've been to, the only thing that would really freak me out was like if I heard like a whisper in my ear, or if I was like scratched or grabbed or something. Yeah. But like,
what about stuff? Because I got some walkie-talkies, but they're not really walkie-talkies, but they're just like really cheap radio transmitters. What if one of those, a voice comes through that? Would that freak you out?
Probably not. I think that would be crazy, but I'm expecting, I think there's a very real possibility something like that could happen. I also think there's a really strong possibility we get some good electronic voice phenomena on some audio recordings.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not expecting any visual evidence. Would be awesome. I'm not expecting any, but we'll just have to see what we find. I am going to.
Do you subscribe to because the basically you can't really explain away all the ghost phenomena by just being like, oh, it was just like a trick of the light. Like, so the common theory that explains away like the EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, is that people like have these weird. Their houses are set up in a way that there are these weird electrical outlets placed in specific areas where it creates sort of an electromagnetic field, which causes all sorts of issues psychologically with people, whether it keeps them up at night, or it causes them to have hallucinations, or it causes electronic voice phenomena. Do you subscribe to that theory? And if so, do you believe that is possible in the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum? Because I don't think there's much electricity in that building.
Yeah, well,
at all.
I think they got to have like floodlights or something.
Yeah,
but
it can't be like somebody's house where they have like 3 circuit breakers set up right next to each other.
Right. No, I don't know if there's going to be electrical interference. And my view on electronic voice phenomena, like I've captured before voices that I believe to have intelligent responses to like questions I'm posing in the room. Besides just like that go beyond what you would consider just your mind playing tricks on you when you're listening to like, gargled audio. So I think I'm more not willing to believe, but I think it's completely possible that that electronic voice phenomena is real, in the sense that there's a being possibly able to communicate, and it's not able to be picked up by human ears, but sometimes they can come through recorders and stuff.
What do we have time-wise?
We're about like 6 minutes into this video.
Okay, good. I have more questions. So, I read a couple articles about people who have done this same tour, the overnight experience, and one of them said that there is a resident in the asylum, a ghost resident, who, I think his name is Joe. He was fond of cigarettes, so the tour guide actually gave this person a cigarette, because he didn't smoke, and said, offer Joe a cigarette to do some stuff. Are you willing to offer Joe, or offer the ghost things, like as rewards for like interacting with us, or are you afraid to do that?
I think that's fine.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, like if there's been enough collective experience with an entity that it's, benign, or I don't know what the word would be. It is friendly, so to speak. Then I don't see any issue with it. What does concern me a little bit, although I might try this depending on how annoyed I get with the lack of evidence, is I'm not a huge fan of the concept of provoking spirits. Like, yelling like, do something, fuck me up, you fucking pussy. Like, that seems like a bad idea, especially in such a place allegedly haunted, and where, it's confirmed hundreds of people died in.
I don't know how many people died there. Well, I mean, I guess they, lived there, so they would have to die there. But, and it's a hospital, too, I guess. But yeah, no, you're right. Do you expect... So the person who interacted with Joe offered him a cigarette to turn off and on his flashlight. Mm-hmm. Do you expect Joe to do that with us? Do you think it's going to happen?
I think it's completely possible that we might get some flashlight action. I've seen it before.
Do you think we're going to say, hey, turn this flashlight off right now, you get a cigarette? Do you think it's going to happen?
I think there's a real possibility it could. It's very bizarre to me because, people might have whatever, justifications for that, but some flashlights are kind of difficult to turn on.
Yeah, it was a mag light in this case. So it would require either some sort of battery issue or pressing the button, I guess.
Right. And I think that's the thing, really, when I was thinking about this earlier, when people decry the paranormal or any sort of esoteric thing in the realm of spirits and ghosts and stuff like that, they often say that, and I was thinking that people get upset at it because it's not like the scientific method, in that it's very difficult sometimes to have these incidents repeat themselves.
Right.
And there's like a ton of what I'd call circumstantial evidence, whether it be like personal experience or like I've seen some videos I can't explain, like of like bricks being thrown and stuff, but it's never like if you see a brick being thrown across the room by an alleged entity, it's very, very difficult to have that exact same scenario happen again, where it's like you place the brick down,
right,
and then say, oh, do this again. Like, that's just not going to happen. So, I guess a question I'd pose to you is, you need to get into the other lane.
Oh, sorry, thanks. That's the question.
I've almost been killed, like, making that same mistake before. What do you think is, what sort of consensus would people have to reach to take something like the existence of spirits out of the fringe and have people like accept the concept on a broader scale?
I think it would have to be widespread hauntings. I don't know, I just recently read honestly, it's a young adult children's series. Not really children, but it's written like in a way like the protagonists are children or adolescents, but it's still like an adult book, but it's not really. But the whole concept is about how ghosts and hauntings have basically become a problem, to the point where literally there are these private agencies that their whole job is just to cure hauntings. So I think it would have to be something like that, where there's like hauntings literally like affect everybody to the point where they have to make like some sort of Ghostbusters organization, or if there are private entities like that are able to literally, make a living off of dealing with paranormal issues. Then I think that would, but people already accept ghosts, not way more than I think. I mean, ghosts have been, in some societies are thought of. It's not a subculture. It's
it's a genuine belief.
The real culture believes in the ghosts. So I don't know. I think it's just what would it take, I guess, for Western Americans to believe in ghosts?
Right. And maybe that's sort of the same question in my mind.
Joe
is
Biden
like
getting possessed by a ghost or something. So he's like. Starts acting all crazy, that maybe that'll do it.
The White House is allegedly haunted, though.
Oh, nice.
Like, apparently people have reported seeing Abe Lincoln, whatever James Madison's wife's name was, Dolly Madison.
I heard stories about her all over the place. She's on that bridge that they named after her near Georgetown. Dolly Madison Bridge. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, it would really be like a paradigm shift. So, and I'm almost wondering if it's the same question as like, what would it take for Americans to go back to the church, so to speak?
Well, I think there's plenty of Americans in the church.
Sure, but I mean, more and more, not as much in recent generations.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like. Maybe like when alien disclosure happens, that'll be when people are like, "Oh, what about ghosts?" And they're like, "Yeah, they're real," or something.
Do you think there's any
there's
chance
going to be a press conference?
Demonic?
Yes, I think
beings?
that's a very interesting concept to me.
No, not in general. I just mean in the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
I think that it's possible that I worry about some of the attempts at contacting spirits that others who have gone here before us have done, because I think it's very possible that. With certain rituals, such as the Ouija board.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Like, I'm afraid of channeling in the sense that I think a lot of the times it's, if there is actual not belief, but I think sometimes those sort of things can open a window into things that people don't understand. And I was listening to this interview last week with like a Jesuit exorcist, and he was basically saying that the entities that you end up contacting through these things more often than not are in fact demonic, and that can actually be kind of a roadmap to getting your house infested, getting oppressed, demonic oppression, which is basically just when you're being harassed, and then on to full-on possession. So I think it's completely possible that we come into contact with some demonic entities.
Tonight, you mean?
Yeah, I think it's completely possible. My mom asked if I wanted her cross to bring, and I said
we should have.
I said I didn't want to, because sometimes it can aggravate demonic entities. So like, I don't want it to be like ripped off my neck or something. That would really frighten me. So we'll see. I mean, I kind of want to ask.
Yeah, no, we're going to ask.
I also want to ask why they don't allow Ouija boards. Like, if they have the same argument that I do in terms of my fear that some consider irrational.
We're going to get that on camera. We're going to, like, whoever has whichever one of us has the camera is going to record while the other one asks that question. Because I want to know. And I want you all to know, too. Firsthand. We've made it. Andrew. To Weston, West. Here is a little preview of our, our ruck.
Our kit.
Our kit, yeah. Andrew's got his camera.
This is actually the same one they filmed the Ray J sex tape on.
Oh, how'd you get it?
It was expensive.
And we're watching Spider-Man 2. One of our lights right there is already completely drained, so...
Kind of spooky.
I don't know what's going on here, but we'll keep you all posted. We're in the Super 8 Motel.
If we die. U.S. looking building.
We're listening to The Cure. There are people parked, conversing. There's a porta potty, thank God, because we've been drinking caffeine all night.
Yeah, but are we gonna have access to it when we're locked inside?
I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to see, but this is a scary building. All right, bye. Hello, everybody. It's me again. We're here at the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. I don't know if Andrew can pan.
It's very dark, so you might not be. Oh, there's the spire up there.
Yeah.
Some folks that will be joining us. It's
So,
very cold.
It's 8:37, February the 26th, 2022. We are ready to go.
All right, let's
How
do
are you
it.
feeling?
You know, I'm not really having the nerves set in yet.
Oh, do I have to hold it?
I'm not really having the nerves set in yet. I have had a little bit of coffee. I am a little jittery. It's going to be cold in there. It's going to be dark. I'm sure at some point, there's only a couple of things that could happen to really freak me out, but they might. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think they're just about ready to call us in, so.
Can go out of these rooms, as you please. A lot of the things we get up here is the phantom smell, like cigar smoke, pipes, like pipe smoke. Chairs spinning across the wooden floor, and things like that, different shadow figures as well. There was a shadow figure that was captured here and photographed, and they tried to replicate it, but the shadow casted higher than that moment, so that was a very large entity. So we're going to start our way down this way, and we're going to head on this side, okay? You can't record the tour. Okay.
You can?
Can.
Okay.
What's it called, the black one coming for? They were just doing some painting for like picture frames and stuff. And I don't know why they didn't like plastic things. So this is Ward B. This would have been part of female admissions. So basically in the early years, they would bus you off the train or drop off. You would have came into the break room where we're at. They would have registered you, put you down in Ward A, and you would have came up to Ward B. You would have been housed here for a short period of time. Once they would have diagnosed you, then they would put you in the proper ward where you've been housed. So this would have been female admissions, as I said. You can see the paint on the wall. All the pastel paintings. It was easier for the patients to realize what ward they need to be on and in their colored room. So they need to be on Ward B, paint room, or paint wall, and then they do pastel room. That's really good one. Now, anytime you see a half brick wall like this could have been used as a seclusion type cell for different things like that. And you'll see more of those up on the third floor once we get up there in the next round of investigation. A little bit of things some of the things we've gone up here in the past. A lot of different actions down at the very end, the last one on the right, some different interactions, a lot of EVPs, captures and male voices and things like that. This room here in particular, it used to have a half door. You can see where the bracket was, and it had like a hinge on it. There was like an automatic hinge that kind of slammed it shut. I was walking down through here one night, I was down with my group. We heard some movement up here. I was making sure nobody was messing around. As I was walking back, I got right here. As I passed the door, something checked in the back, and I ended up on my face, which, they heard down the break room. My buddy came up to see what happened. And my group just took off running behind me and left me behind. So, definitely check out this room if you would like. It is, like I said, you can tell by the little metal frame right there, okay? Like I said, different things up here, like I said, the EVPs, the men's voices, and things like that. Not a whole lot of crazy, interaction and things like that have happened up here, but on the other side of the building, which we're going to walk to, is a lot more interesting. So let's go ahead and head that way, okay? And then I'll let some kind of behavior issues, things like that. I grew up about 45 minutes from here, and I didn't know Weston was actually a town until, I became a teenager, right? I just was always assuming Weston was just this building on a hillside, because my mom always told me if I wasn't good, she was going to take me to Weston to leave me. And that was a kind of form of scare tactic and punishment for kids around the area. If you weren't good, you'd end up in Weston. And I didn't, we always just called it Weston. We had no idea. I had a neighbor whose brother was a patient here, and he would run away and hitchhike all the way back to his house. and we would call over there, and he wasn't dangerous. They let him visit, and they'd come back in that afternoon, so that happened from time to time. But their kids were here for all kinds of reasons. Like I said, you could be dropped off here if you weren't wanted anymore, right? You could, if a child was born here, that did happen if you came in, already, pregnant. Obviously, the child was born here, the child would have stayed here, right? They did do adoptions for a while, through several years, but, if you were a kid here, you were here till you were 18, and then you're no longer a ward of the state, so you'll be let loose, basically just to fend for yourself. But sometimes they work out, depending on the diagnosis and depending on how severe the diagnosis was and how that patient was. So a lot of different things happened. Like I said, the kids here in this ward would have been the teenagers. So a little bit different activity. You get like a lot of running down the hallway, yelling, carrying on, things like that. I'm going to show you guys something real quick as we get down here. A couple of interesting rooms that are, and they took their lives in this room. I've never really gotten anything in there, but a lot of people do hang out in there. They get different EVPs and different interactions, things like that. I have just never personally reached anything like that, so I kind of just hang out over here. This room here is the stabbing bathroom. There was a male patient that would go around asking other patients for favors. One of the boys who got upset was actually a volunteer in the kitchen, took a butter knife, grounded it on the stones till it developed a point, went in there and stabbed him 17 times. That boy crawled out, got about 7 feet away from that nurse's station, where he finally bled out and passed away. People do claim that they get their ankles grabbed walking through this hallway, like he's trying to get their attention. But these two gentlemen, I do get a lot of interaction with them. Daytime, nighttime, doesn't really matter. They do interact with K2 meters, dowsing rods, anything like that. They like to listen to music, things like that as well. If you do play music, kind of keep it down low. You can do spirit box sessions as well. Just kind of keep it muffled a little bit if you're using an external speaker or anything like that, okay? Oculus? Oculus? Yeah, you can use Oculus, yeah, absolutely. Anything you have. Just be, if someone's doing a session, don't really walk up into them, make sure it's okay to join them if it's okay. But definitely check this out when you guys have time. It's definitely a very interesting room and things do happen quite often in there. So we're going to take, and nothing. And that was 2014, I've never got anything since. So definitely hang out, check her out. People do hang out there, they do good and cool stuff. She just will not interact with me anymore, so I don't know what happened. You will get some interaction throughout the night. The heavier activity is often in the evenings, like late evenings when kids are kind of wound up and not wanting to go to bed, things like that. But you will get stuff throughout the night, so we're up here. It's kind of the perfect time as well. The last room is very low right, it's like a bathroom shower room. There is a gentleman down there. He used to claim that he was a doctor. Now he kind of portrays and claims himself to be a priest. So it's kind of interesting why he's down there and things like that. He does do a lot of interacting through different sessions and through questioning him. So don't be afraid to question him and talk to him and ask him different things. So you'll hear doors opening and shutting. You'll hear kids giggling and laughing and talking, things like that. You'll hear balls moving, toys going off, and things like that. So do not hesitate to use them as trigger objects and use them to interact with the children. Okay.
Blue Bear and cat balls.
Yeah, the cat balls I've never used. They're kind of a new thing. The Blue Buddy does work. I used to use one also. But yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Any concerns? Any complaints?
All right, guys. Well, as the tour guide just explained to us, there was actually a stabbing in this bathroom here. As I understand it, one of the patients was stabbed 17 times with a sharpened butter knife that was ground into a point. So we're going to try and just do an EVP session here quickly where we just ask a few different questions and see if we get anything on the audio recorder. So a couple people going by there, so let's disregard
That's so weird, dude. It's not working. I mean,
Was it fully charged before?
yeah, they're not charged, they're batteries.
The batteries are dead?
Not dead, but... Well, come on, try this. That'd be a bummer if they didn't work. Sorry.
Dog chill.
Okay. So it wasn't working 2 seconds ago. Isn't that kind of weird?
Spooky, right?
Hey, John, try. Let's change up a bit. What were my names? John and Trevor?
Ben and Charlie?
Trevor?
We just want to have a conversation. I mean, I don't understand where you are right now. I hope it's an okay place. I know that this seems like a pretty terrible place to be stuck in.
Phone battery's on again. Your phone flash.
So, is there anybody in the room with myself and Gifford at the moment?
Can you talk to us through the walkie-talkie? Thank you. Hello. If you need the frequency, it's 830 megahertz, if that helps.
Anybody in here with me and the Gipster? Some really,
Can you make our lantern dim at all?
yeah, that's a good question. Can you dim the lantern for us if you're here? Make a noise if you're here. Please. It's a lot of things to bang on in here.
Is it okay for me to sit on this ledge? Is it okay if, I don't know. Do you guys get cold in here?
Yeah, it's freezing. Is it cold where you are? It might just be nerves, but I feel like my knees are like buckling right now.
Yeah, I feel fine, so maybe we should go try and get grabs.
Do what?
The victim.
Do something with this balloon, please. Can you pass me the balloon back? What about this this cool little pink ball? Can you pass me the pink ball back? Come on, you need to kick it harder than that. I know I'm a stranger, but I'm really just here to be your friend, I promise. Pass the ball back.
All right, Andrew, what are your thoughts so far? We're about an hour and 45 in, right?
Hour 45 in. What's been happening is they take us to different floors, different areas, and then they kind of let us loose for in a lot of time period. So for example, right now we're on the second floor until 11. We've seen some women's wards, we saw the children's ward. We spent a lot of time in this room with a lot of toys with this spirit that's named Emily. We were trying to get her to respond. Did some EVPs, played with the toys, but weren't getting much there. The one thing that does concern me, there's a lot of noise interference from other people in the building, so that's something I try to keep cognizant of is if I hear a bump, like listen to it for a second and like make sure it's not a noise that someone else is making. But I will say so far there have been bumps and like little knocks that I've heard that don't seem connected to that activity at all. So
I have heard nothing. So I don't
and
know.
also I felt pretty weird over there in the suicide bathroom, but not the suicide bathroom, the murder bathroom, excuse me. So yeah, I mean, night's still young and we still have a lot of footage that I'll need to review. Nothing really dramatic's happened yet, but when we circle back with the group, we'll see if anybody's got anything.
Yeah, I mean, how hopeful are you that you'll actually see something significant by the end of the night? Has that decreased?
I'm still keeping optimistic. I think it's completely possible. We're just on a floor with not a lot of activity, and I'm just trying to keep spirits up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely less hopeful. It's also gotten like at least 15 degrees colder in here.
Yeah.
Since we started, and it was already nighttime when we started, so.
Yeah, it's cold as balls in here. We're out here in the trenches for y'all to prove if ghosts exist or not.
Dowsing rods. Okay, classic. We're witching wand, dowsing rods, whatever we call it. Mine are in copper tubing, which is allow them to spin freely. Okay, which means a lot of people are stationary rods and they grip them. I don't like that because it's easily be manipulated by the person holding them, right? These, as you hold them, you know, if you take hold of those, try to balance those real quick. Yeah, see how crazy that goes?
Yeah.
Right? If you kind of move your wrist a little bit, what happens? If you move your wrist a little bit, kind of tweak it inwards and outwards, it goes ridiculous, right? Okay? So, I take my gloves off. I will make you shine your lights on my hands. Anytime I'll say turn your lights on is right here. So, I haven't got him back to where I need him to be yet. It takes me some time. But we're going to try to get in your thoughts real quick, okay? This is Big Jim. I was really hoping you would walk in this room because he would have messed you up, man. I was really hoping.
What? That I wouldn't have?
Oh, yeah, I was hoping you would have walked in here, because it would have been a show.
Really?
Yeah, because we don't talk about him on tour. For that reason, it makes me mad, and no one comes in here until the tour's over. And you're wandering and looking, like, I kind of stopped, I was like, oh yeah. Let's see what happens. I actually did it one time, I made fun of my buddy Paul, because Jim didn't like Paul, and I was kind of following along with my friend that I went to school with. And we came in here and sat down, and it was going to seem like our heads were in vice grips, just cranked down. We almost passed out. It was just, wicked pain. So, Jim's a cool dude. Good buddies. Alright. So X is for yes. This is no. He'll wave, he'll do different kind of cool stuff, okay? So wash my hands. Feel free to wash my hands. That way you can tell that I am not manipulating this in a way. Okay? Hey Jim. You in here tonight, buddy? Thank you. Where are you at tonight, Jim?
I think your door.
No, he's standing next to this lady. Do you have dark hair?
Yeah.
All right, Jim. Were you getting excited a little earlier?
Ooh.
Why was you excited, Jim?
Yeah, the lady.
You thought he was going to come say hi, didn't you?
Yeah.
Good deal. All right, Jim. Jim's wife had dark hair, so he tends to like the dark-haired ladies.
Hey, that's your dark hair. No? Still like her?
All right, Jim. Let's see. You guys ask me questions, because I've already asked this guy already 18,000 questions. Feel free, yes or no questions. Go ahead, kids. Go ahead. Still the show.
Do you want me to leave? Oh. I don't know if that's good or bad.
You want to stay after we leave?
Gifford.
Are you going to...
Do you like Gifford?
Damn.
Are you going to play nice? Jim. Alright, kids. Go away. Not go away. Go take the show. Get out of here, kids. Get out of here. Anything. It could be anything in the world. Don't hesitate. Don't be shy.
Were you a patient here?
Did you get a lobotomy?
No.
Do you like nurses?
No.
That's probably why he doesn't like me. Oh. Do you like me?
Ooh.
Yes. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Do you think that would nurse? No. Oh, well,
Good.
thank you.
Good.
All right, everybody, it's almost 1 a.m. Andrew, thoughts so far? What do you think? Have you seen anything?
I've heard noises that I can't easily explain. Like, there have been other tour groups in the building, but it's been very obvious when we're hearing them. In one of the halls on the other side of this third floor, we definitely heard what sounded like a disembodied scream. That's what I consider to be the most...
Still not on the level of like, oh my God, this is definitely paranormal. Like, we just don't know, basically.
Essentially, yeah, it's unidentified. I mean, there's still plenty of time left, still plenty of spooky locales.
I think once the guests start getting tired, or the other patrons get tired, maybe it's gonna quiet down in here. There's a guy named Doc. I don't know. We'll see if he's here.
What's up, back?
Okay, guys, we are in a part of the building we're not supposed to be in. Got a little private tour here. This is the basement, I think. Oh, no, it's not.
Like, fuck. So this is the bottom you're covering, as I was mentioning throughout the night.
Everybody, we finished. We're still alive.
1:50 in the morning. We're still alive.
Despite probably like risking by going into like a forbidden part of the asylum that our guide basically hooked us up with, even though he was probably breaking a shit ton of rules.
Shout out to Kyle.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that later. Fuck, we're just so cold and tired. We just want to go to bed.
I don't think I'm going to say anything actually.
We'll talk about it
insightful
tomorrow.
right now.
But